What's up, guys? I'm Weston Mack, and welcome back to One More Minute, the show where each day I get one more minute to talk about whatever I want. And no, you do not need to adjust your TV screen or your phone or anything like that. The screen is currently pitch black. And in today's video, we're doing an experiment. Some of these videos that I'll be coming out with on this channel will be more experimental than others. The majority of these videos will stick to the regular format of me yapping while I'm looking at you face to face, but other times I might do something a little different, and this is one of those videos where there will be no video component, only an audio component and my sweet succulent voice. I actually did warm up a little bit and let my voice kind of warm into this nice radio talking voice. So if you do enjoy this, I might look into the future and making more audio only episodes or stuff like that. But yeah, today's video we're actually be talking about more of the audio file in me and mentioning some singing stuff and some podcast stuff and some radio host type stuff. But if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. I've been really enjoying the support on both sides, both this YouTube channel as well as my main channel, Weston Mack. And if you haven't already, check that channel as well. I should be linked in the description below. So, speaking of audio stuff, I have been always interested in the world of audio in some fashion or another, whether it is for singing or it's for podcasts or it's for YouTube YouTube videos and stuff like that. And I've always found it interesting how those worlds are not too dissimilar from each other at all. Obviously, they all include audio. I think when it comes to almost any entertainment, audio and video are the two most common components. But I would hazard that is kind of more of an important aspect of the medium of entertainment. You can obviously make videos or whatever with no audio, and there was a time and period where no film or anything like that had actually any audio. You had the little Chaplin doing a little funny dance or almost falling off of a bridge, and then it like cuts to like a 5 second screen of it, like all the text for the last 5 seconds. That does exist, but if I'm being honest, I think audio technically is a more important aspect because you're able to enjoy a 1 minute episode without audio. I highly doubt that. If I'm just sitting here with zero audio and trying to do charades for you the entire time, I don't think that'd be as entertaining as a black screen you're currently watching right now. But I do find audio very interesting in the YouTube space, at least. Obviously, there is an entire corner and category of ASMR, and if you don't know what ASMR is, I don't actually remember the acronym. Now thinking about it, I think I've ever thought of the acronym. But ASMR basically, oh, sheesh. Okay, give me a second. ASMR is basically a type of video where audio is the main focus. And it's a it can be a relaxation video in most cases, using specialized mics where the audio can almost feel physical, I think is one of the best ways to describe it. One of the best ways I've ever seen it. And if you've never actually enjoyed ASMR, I would highly suggest just looking up ASMR, plug some AirPods in or a headset, and listening to it. I will give you a major warning. It is probably the weirdest feeling videos you probably ever watched before. And the fact you can feel them, I think, makes them highly, highly, highly different from any other type of content on the platform. And it's a lot of like making something sound like it's like rattling in your head or like your ears are being cleaned. A lot of whispering and like smacking of lips. It is one of the most interesting advents of, I don't know, knowledge. I really don't know if it's knowledge. Entertainment in the 21st century. I feel like if you were to make a medieval child or a child from the 1920s or whatever listen to ASMR, I think they would explode on sight. I'm not going to lie. That sounds absolutely insane. What I will say, when we're still on the topic of YouTube, um, YouTubers have changed based off of their YouTube videos and their audio. And what I mean by that, I don't know if I explained that very well. What I mean by that is let's take Jay Schlatt for instance. He's one of my favorite YouTubers currently on the site, and his vocal voice and the way he presents himself online through his voice has completely changed over the course of his career. I would say go through his YouTube repertoire. I would say start off with the weekly slap and go all the way to current J Schlapp. Of course, his content is performative in nature, as there is a sense of performance, as he is kind of performing the character of basically this kind of rich and I wouldn't say necessarily powerful. He's not some type of like Disney villain, but I would say rich New Yorker who is the everyday man, but also a highly sophisticated and well knowledged YouTuber. I think is a decent way to describe him. I think sophisticated is giving him too much credit. But if you listen to his voice, he's evolved the way he speaks and sounds to better construct this character altogether. And what I mean by that is I think you wouldn't be able to fully tell that he was a born New York citizen, like at all, if you were to go back to his older videos. Um, Obviously, there's some accent there, but in comparison to him now, where he has a far rougher, but also um, a mixture of low and high tones compiled together in his voice. Of course, with any YouTuber, and I'll speak about more examples in a minute. But with any YouTuber, you're gonna have a higher confidence about who you are. But I think Jay Schlatt in particular is has forged an interesting character, which has therefore changed the way he literally speaks and sounds. Now, as someone speaking from the outside, I can never truly know exactly what he sounds outside of his videos. There could be a chance that the second he turns off that mic, that oh, the audio good. What the heck? The second he turns off that mic, he speaks. He speaks super high, and he's like this the entire time, and he's not like, "Hey, what's going on, guys?" Like he isn't speaking like that. Like there's that is a possible chance, but I genuinely do believe his vocal cords have shifted and changed with his career. Now, this is not a abnormal thing in the realm of vocal strength and growth and change over the course of a singer's or performer's lifetime. Um, Take me, for instance. While I have been a low bass for almost all of my singing career, I haven't always been like that, obviously. I mean, I hit puberty at one point. But I've been able to grow and change my voice as I've been able to train and take literally years worth of direction and lessons over the years. And I have seen a growth not only in my lower range, but in my higher range. There's plenty of songs and plenty of different things that I've been able to perform that I've just not been able to perform before. Even if I was younger, I don't think I'd be able to hit those notes as well. And I think this is a similar idea when it comes to YouTubers. They are able to grow and shift even if they might not know that professionally. I don't expect Jay Schlatt to be sitting here and doing a full YouTube doc over the fact that his voice has changed and how his vocal cords have grown and developed over the years. His literal vocal change is an evolution based off of the needs he has as an individual. And this also leads me into talking more about Jay Schlatt, which this video is not fully about Jay Schlatt. We'll get off of him in a minute, but I also want to mention his singing. He recently has been posting more songs. He posted a cover of My Way as to prove that he is better than AI generated versions of his voice. If you'd like to see that, that whole story is far more complicated than I have enough for this video. But what I will mention is that he did release a Christmas album, which has slowly become one of my favorite Christmas albums and one of my favorite albums released by a YouTuber ever. It was just a classic set of renditions of different classic. Sorry. Okay, if I yawn one more time, I don't know what I'm doing. I swear I'm not EP, as it were. I don't know. But he released a set of classic renditions of more classic Christmas songs that aren't necessarily too poppy or too popular. Well, they definitely are popular, but not too poppy. I mean, you're not doing Justin Bieber's Little Drummer Boy or looking into the more classic chestnuts roasting at open fire type stuff like the Christmas song. And I was very pleasantly surprised, but I am not wholly surprised that he sounds that good, as he was able, and with the help of professional training, with a professional studio, spending what I would assume a whole lot of money on all those different aspects, was able to create a very, very fine and very, very just well created Christmas album. And it doesn't surprise me with his voice, as his voice does match that personality. I mean, when he did My Way, I think at that point he knew, and us, the fans, really did know that there was definitely something special there. And you could hear the Frank Sinatra in his voice. And it's not just the New Yorker. It truly is like the actual Jay Schlatt of himself. Jay Schlatt of himself. What does that even mean? I meant to say that's really truly does sound still like Jay Schlatt. Normally, and it's obviously depending on the singer, you really can hear the voice when you're speaking. Your speaking voice compared to your singing voice are not that far apart. Of course, I think my professors and directors would disagree to a certain extent, as you're really not trying to replicate your speaking voice as into your singing voice. You're more trying to expand your vocal cords and your voice box, as I normally call it, into a range that is normally not as attainable as somebody who's speaking in day-to-day life. And Jay Schlatt is one of those characters where he has perfected his own voice to the point where he is able to be trained and be coerced into creating quite the ample and nice sounding voice. Now, I do want to give more examples as we roll into this and talk more about YouTubers. Other people that I would say that have really created their own voice would be Markiplier. If you were to go back, of course, he's settled into his lower, more baritone bass voice. And I would say that our voices are not too dissimilar. But yeah, I would absolutely say that he is another character who has really came into his own. I think this was mentioned on the Chuckle Sandwich podcast, another podcast that Jay Schlatt is funny enough on. I don't want to talk about it in 4/7, but that Markiplier has grown. I think both as a YouTuber, both vocally and physically. He has become quite just like, I think hunk is the best way to put it, as if you were to go back on his old videos and look at like how nerdy Markiplier used to be, yeah, I mean, he has completely changed and shifted. There needs to be no further explanation why there's so many fan edits and cuts of him like just doing random things, and people are like being like, yeah, that's Markiplier for you. Also, I do want to mention Accent and overall tone quality of voice when assuming there's an accent involved. And I want to mention Felix or PewDiePie. PewDiePie is another character where another YouTuber where his own accent has been a major part of who he is and how he presents himself online. And it has changed over the years. I think his interaction with other people, whether it's him living in different places in the world or his worldwide influence as one of the biggest YouTubers in the history of the platform, has changed how he speaks. I wouldn't necessarily obviously I think you would be able to tell that he is not from the UK or not from the Americas. I think you would still be able to point him out as a Swedish man, but I don't think it's as oh, that's obviously where he's from. I think you would be able to tell obviously he's from somewhere else, but it's changed. He's evolved. And also his overall tone quality is so much better. I think that was one of the major things that shifted as he grew older and became more confident in his content. I think for a while he was going through ruts of content prior to 2020. And of course, at this point, I think it had been for a while that he had been the number one channel. And 2020, I think, was a big shifting moment for him as during that time period, he had actually been denied to move to Japan. I believe they were planning on moving to Japan around in 2020. And of course, COVID happened and there was the lockdowns and there was a lot of things that went on. And it wouldn't be till 2022, I believe, May of 22 or May 23, that he would actually be able to move to Japan with his family. And so I feel like during that time period, he changed as an individual. I know I started watching him far more. I would watch him on and off for years and years and years. But I could sense a shift both in his personality, his voice, how he spoke, as I think at that point he was looking towards the end, looking towards the retirement of his channel and the persona of PewDiePie. And I believe that persona of PewDiePie has been retired in some sense when you go and look at his channel now, as of course the content has shifted a lot, and I believe he's enjoying his own life on YouTube far more than he has ever had before. Even if, he's still getting multi-million viewed videos. I'm not saying his channel is dead, but even if he's not boosted as the most subscribed to channel of all time, he's been passed by two channels now, T-Series and Mr. Beast. But he definitely has evolved, I think, in a far healthier way than I would say most channels have changed. As we reach the ending half of this video, I do want to mention some things when it comes to vocal change. I think it's a very interesting science that needs to be looked into more, and I would love to see regular YouTubers talk about this and go through their own vocal. I would love to see them put through the ringer when it comes to like a vocal lesson with a professional teacher. I've trained for years in the more choral field, and I can definitely say that my speaking voice has completely changed, and how I understand how to literally breathe unironically has changed. And I've seen plenty of videos. I wouldn't say plenty. I've seen videos of YouTubers going through the vocal exercise and professional training route, whether it was PewDiePie and his couple songs that he did and working with some professionals in the studio. I know recently Offline TV did their own Christmas album, which was a very interesting. They showed a lot, far more than I thought they would have. As obviously, a lot of that is for content, but they definitely showed a lot more of the process than I thought they would have in their video, as they went and had lessons. They were instructed on how to sing. The only thing that I felt a little disappointed in, I wish they had more time with, was the studio was only booked out, I think, uh, it was not for a full day's worth of singing. Oh, I know it wasn't multiple days, that's for sure. I think it only might have been like a couple hours. Uh, it was either an hour per person or it might have only been a few hours total for the whole group, which either way, I'm not a huge fan of. Um, Now, when I do my own singing and I do my own recording, I try to take as much time as I can for these videos when I can. And so maybe the process was different. And of course, the products they came out with were great. But I would have loved for them to experience the studio life and um, the studio experience a little more. I know Jody, who's one of the members of OTK, not OTK, Offline TV. Their names are too similar, by the way. She had expressed that she had wished they had more time in the studio, as she had such a great time. I really just got myself off there. That's so annoying. I clicked on the timeline to double check. Okay, how much time do I have left? And it went, nope. Okay, you clicked on timeline. We're stopping the recording. Okay, that's so annoying. Anyways, she did express that she had more time. She wished she had more time to work on the album and just kind of experience it more. I think they only had a couple lessons, and I think one of the songs might have been changed amidst the lesson. It was a little confusing, but they didn't. I don't feel like they had enough time. But they did show the experience that they did gather and gain, and thankfully they did also have their coach come in with them and help them along with the songs. Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised with how well that video came out. That video came out. I would also love to, I want to look back a little bit toward Jay Schlatt here. I would love to have a chance to interview him, and just hear him. He mentioned a little bit of the experience he had in creating this album, especially the money portion of that, as he was like, "Man, yeah, this is expensive. This is a very expensive field to be in. Hiring sound engineers, hiring a studio, stuff like that, vocal coaches." Also, Ludwig, I forgot to mention that. Ludwig also went through the vocal experience as he learned to do opera for a short period of time, or Italian opera, which is pretty cool. But I would love to get an interview set up with one of these creators, whether it's Markiplier or Jay Schlatt, Ludwig, and get to talk about their vocal process. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And if you're interested in more videos, stay tuned.